Good evening, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our November 4th. That ain't it. Is it the 4th? No, November 10th. I'm like, that's just the 4th. That ain't right. November 10th, 2015. That's what happens when you just read. November 10th's council meeting. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please stay standing for the invocation by Pastor Jacob Kessling from the Community Grace Brethren Church, also known as the Chicken Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Jesus, thank you so much for who you are. Lord, we know that you're always faithful because your word says you are faithful and just. Lord, you're always loving. As your word says that you love the world so much that you gave your only Son, that whoever would believe in your name would have eternal life. God, we know that you're always there. The Bible says you'll never leave us or forsake us. So God, we thank you for your presence. And God, I pray that in this meeting your presence would be known. God, give us wisdom as we make decisions, as the council makes decisions this evening. Lord, I pray you would just give them a sense of unity. And God, I pray you would bless them. Lord, for those the soldiers, God, as we're thinking about Veterans Day, God, we just pray you would bless those who are deployed or who are activated at some level, and for their families. God, for those who have served this country, we thank you so much for their sacrifice. And God, just thank you so much for your sacrifice for us as well. Lord, bless us tonight. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now call this meeting to order. Can I get roll call, please? Here.
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 Here. Dorman.
Here.
And Grudich.
Outstanding. And I do not believe we had any absent council members as far as, yeah, outstanding. This time, council has received the minutes for October 13th, 2015 for the regular council meeting, and then the workshop for October 27th, 2015. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept both minutes as written.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Council, there's a motion to approve the October 13th and 27th minutes. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Kopp. Yes. Fogel.
Yes.
Tinnerman.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich. Yes. And Mayor Francis.
Yes. This time, I'd like to move to correspondence to council. Manager Klein.
Yes, Mayor, actually, two pieces of legislation, correspondence for this evening. Just to note, we did receive a letter from DP&L that DP&L's base distribution rates have remained constant for nearly 25 years. During this time period, DP&L has still completed substantial investments in our distribution infrastructure. But like any other business, expenses for labor, materials, and other services have increased. For these reasons, in late November, DP&L will ask the Public Utilities Commission, or also known as the PUCO, to approve an increase in its base distribution rates beginning January 1 of 2017. If approved by the PUCO, this case will result in an increase of $4.07 to a typical 1,000 kilowatt residential customer's monthly bill, which is approximately a 3% increase to the total bill. These are normal anytime any utility, whatever district that you live in, is seeking any increase in rates to the PUCO, they are required to notify all local governments. So that's one letter. The second one I'm happy to read is from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And it says in part, Mr. Klein, I am pleased to inform you that the above referenced project, which is the West Milton Community Park Playground, has been conditionally awarded funding in the amount of $76,293 through the 22nd round of the NatureWorks grant program. So it was a competitive program with another community in Miami County. Miami County was allotted $76,293, and I'm pleased to announce that it looks like we won the grant. So we have a lot of work to do to improve our playground. Those are the only two pieces of correspondence that I have.
Thank you, Manager Klein. And I would like to thank you and the Park Board for your continued dedicated service on obtaining that grant. Just so the public knows, it is a 75% grant, so basically how it works is we'll pay 100% and we'll get 75% of it back up to that dollar amount.
Correct.
So this village will be responsible for $25,000. The plans that were drawn up are outstanding, so stay tuned to the park board, as the park board and the village have a lot of work to do. Okay. At this time, council also received, through correspondence, the bid openings for Rumpke and Waste Management. Since we have not had time to discuss this, and it is on the agenda to approve a bid later this evening, I would like to take this time to discuss it now. So, because as you'll notice, the copy ordinance that was sent to you has those spots blank. So, who would like to start tonight?
I will. I look at this as two reputable companies that will receive basically the same service for. I mean, I think they're definitely apples to apples on what they offer. With that said, I don't see how we can look at a higher price from one company versus the other. It's why we do a public bid, and this bid process is to get the best price for our residents. Waste management is, there's a variance depending on term and full service or reduced monthly service, but there's roughly $1 difference cheaper with waste management. And while that doesn't seem like a large amount per resident, even a 3-year contract, that's, you can correct my math if I'm wrong, about $75,000 if based on 2,000 customers. I don't know if we're quite there, but roughly $70,000, which would be left in the pockets of the community. So looking at it on a bigger picture, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
I also agree with that, and I know one of the things we looked at was the option with the rolling or recycling bin that's on wheels. And one of the things that I like with the waste management bid is that at no added cost, that you can get a 64-gallon rolling cart, or, which our public expressed the interest in keeping the bins that they currently have. If they want to, they have that option. They can either keep those bins, or they can get the 64-gallon recycling, which will be picked up every week at no added cost. And I think that's a great benefit. And by what I've looked at, originally, myself, I was thinking, when we originally looked at the bids, of going with the 3-year term, but the more I looked at it with the cost per month and the benefit, I would be definitely leaning towards the 5-year versus the 3-year or 4-year plan with waste management as well.
Okay. Councilman Miller, looked like you were about to say something.
Yeah, I agree with Councilman Tinnerman about the price is good cost savings for the community. I think it's a little unfortunate that it took us 2 tries to get a lower price out of waste management, but we got it, so I think that's a benefit for us. So the pricing on the 5-year plan, I think is, I kind of, after looking over it and comparing them, I kind of like the 5-year plan as well. I think that would be a good option, and I think that'll probably be a good what we're going to get. So as good as we're going to get.
Okay. Councilman Dorman?
Yeah, I think everyone summed it up. I mean, nobody's been dissatisfied with the service we're getting now. When you start talking about the opportunity to keep, tens of thousands of dollars in the pockets of our community, I don't think you can not vote that way.
Okay. Councilwoman Cobb?
I would also agree with waste management. At first, when the bids came in the first time, Rumpke had the rollaway cart, the recycling bin, and I really liked that. Well, then waste management came back with that, and we can, save money. Yeah, I think it's an obvious choice.
Okay.
I agree with that, and also, I think if we look at this with this being on the water bill and the water bill going up, this will help maybe kind of balance a little bit with not maybe having too many complaints from citizens with the price.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Rumpke or Waste Management at this time?
Just a comment, I'd like to thank both of you for the time that you've put into this process. I know both of you have been here for previous meetings, and it amazes me when bids come in and they are so close to each other, and I realize that's your business and that's what you guys do, but it's still amazing to me when the $20 is one thing, but the overall cost of trash service for our community, when you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, and you guys really are within a very small margin of each other, it just amazes me that it's such a standard type price. So thanks for the time that you put into it.
I agree with everyone that said, especially since we're going to be picking up the tab and billing it back. It's going to be a culture shock to a lot of people. We're going to have about 100 or 200 more customers come January 1st because everybody who has a water bill in the city limits will also have a trash bill on their utility bill. There we go. So that's something to consider also, because if we're on the hook, the more savings for us on that regards with the 75,000 over 3 years. And if we're talking to going over 5, you're looking over 6 figures easy. That'll save everybody. Like everyone else, I was leaning towards Rumpke at first on the original bids. I do have a question for Waste Management. Just more curiosity than anything else. At the previous meetings, we were told that was pretty much the lowest the bids were going to go based on the market and everything else from what was submitted previously. And we'd thrown out some costs from neighboring communities. I was just trying to figure out, did it just go down to keep our business, or were other things looked at?
I think we looked at a whole different scope of items and tried to find ways to reduce our cost. And I think by giving the residents an opportunity to get a recycling card might help with taking some of that waste out of the Langdon County transfer. So we're hoping that some of that will help with some of that cost savings.
Any other questions?
Yes. I just have one other thing, and this is hopefully something, maybe a challenge to us on council. Going forward now, we're going to have this contract in place for, looks like 5 years. So I would like to challenge all of us. There's smaller communities, there's larger communities. I know that Piqua, I know that Covington, I know that Versailles. Talked to some gentlemen in my van pool that they do their own trash collection. And I just think it's something that the community as a whole, it's something we should look into and investigate more on our own to see if it's something that we could possibly do down the road. And we have time, so we have plenty of time to do it. But just a thought to throw in your mind to think about down the road.
I think Scott Vogel Trash Collection LLC is about to come to fruition. That's just me. Okay. Since it sounds like there's a consensus, I'll just go down the road one time just so the law director knows how to read it. And we'll start at the end. Councilwoman Brudich. Everyone please tell me which company and which term.
Waste management.
Okay?
Waste management, I'd honestly like to see the 3-year, but I can waiver if it's.
Okay.
Waste Management in 5 years.
Okay.
Waste
Vice Mayor?
management, and 5.
Chairperson?
Waste management and 5.
Waste management, 5.
All right. There you have it, Ms. Frosch. And Manager Klein, if you can fill in the blanks for us, I would appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. Moving on, are there any comments from citizens regarding tonight's legislation? It's a full ballot tonight. Anybody? All right. Then moving on to ordinances. First one on the ballot is ordinance CM-15-32, income tax, second reading. Ms. Frosch.
It's an ordinance to amend Chapter 96 of the codified ordinances of the Village of West Milton, Ohio regarding the municipal income tax.
Okay. All right. Council, the ordinance has been read a first time in completion and the second time by title only. Are there any motions at this time?
I'll make a motion to accept or approve ordinance CM 15-32.
Second.
Council, a motion has been properly made and duly seconded to pass ordinance CM-15-32. Is there any further discussion? Manager Klein.
Just one thing that we need to make note, both the law director and I would like you to know that in between council meetings, it was pointed out to us that there was a typographical error in the actual chapter of the ordinance that is attached, or of the code that is attached to the ordinance. And it was on page 40. It's very minor, but it was under amended returns. We've made the appropriate correction. The sentence read in part that within the period prescribed by Division E of Section 96.19, and it was meant to read within the period prescribed by Division A2 of this section. Very minor, makes a difference. So we just wanted council to know that and acknowledge that that typographical error has been corrected. The rest of the ordinance is good, as far as we know, from the Ohio Municipal League. No action needs to be taken, just needed to be put on the record.
Right. Okay, is there any other discussion? All right. And this is just a reminder for everyone that this is the one that, due to our state legislation, am I right, Manager Klein?
Yes.
That, due to our lovely state changing things in Senate Bill, House Bill, or Senate Bill 5 last year, everybody in the state has to make certain changes, and this is our way of making the changes, so. All right, hearing no further discussion, can I get roll call, please?
Sure. Cop,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance CM-15-35, a reappropriation, and it is also the second reading for this ordinance. Ms. Frosch.
It's an ordinance to amend the 2015 appropriations.
Okay. This time, is there any motions regarding this ordinance?
Mayor, before it's actually passed, there are 2 amendments that need to be made. And I tried to write the proper motions for you. Since the first reading, there have been 3 things that have come to our attention. One was, we were informed that there was a sizable income tax refund to a taxpayer, very sizable, $14,500 tax refund. That has a big effect on the total appropriations. Secondly, if you'll recall, at the last meeting, the police department had received a grant for defibrillators. That grant needs to be put into this year's appropriations. We've received the money already. So that needs to be amended. Both of those amendments are part of the general fund. And then finally, we believe that we need, or we feel very confident we need a little bit more money for sludge removal, which is in our sewer fund. I broke both of those motions down, one for general and one for sewer for you. The sludge removal is something else. I'll talk about it during my regular report, but those items should be amended so we have a proper appropriation for the year.
Okay.
And I'm just suggesting, and I've not talked with the law director, but I thought it would be easier to make two motions. One to
Right.
amend the general fund part, the second to amend the sewer fund, which I included a new total. I put in, Jill put in writing, or a little show you, I recopied the number 35 for you with some handwritten notes there along with the motions.
Okay. Ms. Brock, should we pass the amendments first, or open the ordinance and then do the amendments and then pass it as amended?
That's confusing.
On the
I believe
fly.
you open the ordinance and then you
Right,
do
the
the
amendments.
amendments
That's
and
what I
then you
thought.
pass it, yes.
Outstanding. So is there any motions regarding ordinance CM-15-35?
Yeah, I'll take the easy one. I'll make a motion to pass CM 15-35.
Second.
All right. Council, there is a motion and properly made and duly seconded to pass ordinance CM-15-35. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Outstanding.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to amend ordinance 15-35 as follows. Under fund number 101, general fund line entitled Total Other Expenditures, to amend $16,500 to $31,000, which makes a new total amended appropriation to the general fund from $1,694,827 to $1,709,327. I have a new respect for you.
All right. Is there a second to that amendment?
A second.
Okay. Council, there is a motion duly seconded to approve amending ordinance CM-15-35 as read. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cop.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Tinnerman.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Francis.
Yes. Furthermore, is there any other discussion regarding ordinance CM-15-35?
I'd like to make a motion to amend line number 620, which is for the sewer fund. Total other expenditures for sludge, change from 22,800 to 28,800, which will change the total enterprise fund for the sewer. Total enterprise fund appropriation from $1,900,778 to $1,906,778. And then the total will change from all funds, total appropriations from $4,058,220.63 to a new grand total of $4,078,720.63.
Outstanding. Thank you, Chairperson Scott. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Okay. Council, there has been a motion duly seconded to amend CM-1535 through number 620, the sewer fund, as well as making a change to the total appropriations of all funds based upon this change as well as the previous change. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cop.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Tinnerman.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Francis.
Yes. Okay. Outstanding. Council, we still have ordinance CM-15-35. And at this time, we would need whoever said it first time to say pass it as amended.
I'd like to make a motion to pass CM-15-35 as amended.
I'll second that.
Okay. Standing council, a ordinance and for passage for ordinance CM-15-35 as amended has been motioned and duly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Finally, roll call, please.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes. All right. Now we get to hear Ms. Brosh talk for about the next hour. Ordinance CM-15-36, title is Vacation Policy. Take it away.
It's an ordinance amending section 3230, vacations and absences of the West Milton Personnel Rules. Whereas the Personnel Review Board has made a recommendation to adjust the current vacation policy, and whereas the municipal manager approved the concept of their recommendation and consulted with council to make an adjustment to the policy, and whereas the council has reviewed and amended the recommendation as per section 6.07 of the Charter of the Municipality of West Milton. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council hereby amends Section 3230D, vacation, so it reflects today's standards among other municipalities and governing boards. There's an Exhibit A attached. Section 2, all other sections of the personnel rules shall remain intact and unaffected. Section 3, this ordinance shall become effective from and after the earliest date permitted by law.
Outstanding. As this is a first reading of the ordinance, we will set it aside and revisit it in December. Moving on to Resolution CM-15-38, which is the garbage contract.
You want the 37 first?
No, we don't want to deal with 37. Ordinance CM-15-37, the garbage refuse ordinance. I guess you want to create the fund before we pass it. Picky.
It's an ordinance establishing a refuse fund and amending sections 5327 and 5332 regarding garbage, refuse, and recyclable of the Code of Ordinances for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio will now be responsible for directly billing and collecting payments from residential and residential multifamily households for the collection of garbage, refuse, and recyclables within the village of West Milton. And whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio has authority to directly bill for the collection of these services pursuant to Section 5321 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances. And whereas it is necessary to set up a refuse fund in order for the village to collect such costs. And whereas it is also necessary to repeal the current language in Section 5327 due to the village no longer offering a rate discount on other utilities provided to residents. And whereas it is further necessary to amend Section 5332 to reflect the village's new billing procedures. Now therefore be it ordained by the council for the village of West Milton, Ohio as follows. Section 1, the language contained in Section 5327 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances is hereby repealed and replaced with the following language establishing a refuse fund. It will now state garbage fund, refuse fund.
refuse fund, sorry.
Refuse fund. A refuse fund shall be established to deposit funds for the sole purpose of having the necessary funds available to provide for the collection of garbage, refuse, and recyclables within the municipality. Section 2, the language contained in Section 5332B of the West Milton Code of Ordinances is hereby repealed and replaced with the following language clarifying the billing practices of the municipality. It will still state the municipality billing provisions, and B will now read, customers will be billed for the current month of service. The monthly charge is an operational charge and will not be prorated. All charges rendered shall be paid by the 15th of the month. Should the 15th of the month fall upon a weekend or holiday, the next business day will become the final date for net payment. After this date, a 10% penalty shall be charged. Section 3, the language contained in Section 5332F shall be amended as follows to clarify the billing practice of the municipality. F, language will be added to the beginning of that section that states owners of property shall be held responsible for garbage, refuse, and recycling charges to their premises, but payments will be accepted from tenants. The rest of that section remains the same. Section 4, this ordinance shall become effective from and after the earliest date permitted by law.
Thank you, Ms. Brush, and I'm glad you said refuse instead of refuse like I did, so glad somebody knows how to pronounce the terminology here tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Tenderman, for pointing that out. I know,
It's all right,
nothing
just
but love.
hold on to them, I'll take them.
All right, now we're going to move on to Resolution CM-15-38, which is the garbage contract.
I filled in the blanks for the law director.
Okay.
After the meeting, I will type up a new one with, so it doesn't have.
Tom, if you can hear me, can you please zoom in to show everybody that we did just write it in, just so that there's no questions regarding this? First time the council did discuss this was tonight. So if you can do that, if he's back there,
Tom?
that'd be great.
Tom?
Crickets, there you go.
Yeah, you can see it.
All right. Thank you, Tom. And also, we would like to say what the prices are so everybody knows what it's going to be. For the 5 years, cost per month, starting January 16, it'll be $22 for the first 3 years. And then January 2019, it goes to $22.66. January 2020 goes to $23.35. And that is for the 90-gallon toters, and then there's an additional cost per toter of $2. Low volume will go to,
They don't provide a tote at that cost.
right, that's what I said, cost per toter.
Right, but this cost is using your own trash can.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want a tote for that one, it's $2. If not, use your own trash cans, as a lot of people do. Low volume is $20 for the first 3 years, and then that goes up to $22.66 and then $23.35. So low volume in years 4 and 5 will be the same as normal volume in years 4 and 5. Dumpster rates for 2-yard containers will be $48 for the first 3 years, $58 for year 4, $68 for year 5. And for the low volume, you do get a recycle toter, and if you are a garbage toter, and if you want a recycle toter for either plan, just please let Waste Management know or the office know. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't let the Waste Management know by December 31st, let the village know starting January 1st. And as a reminder, there will be letters going out over the next 6 to 7 weeks stating these changes, as well as reminding everybody at the next council meeting that the village will be adding this charge starting on January's utility bill for that. So the village will need to know if you are using the low volume or the high volume. So we will get that word out to everybody as soon as we can. Please, when you get that in the mail, do not ignore it. If you ignore it, the assumption is going to be that you are on the regular volume. Is that a correct assumption, Manager Klein?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you want the low volume, please let everybody know so you can get the low volume rates. All right. I think we're good there. Resolution CM-15-38 garbage contract.
It's a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to execute a contract with Waste Management for the collection and disposal of residential curbside refuse, commingled recycling, and yard waste disposal services. Whereas the municipality prepared bid specifications for residential refuse collection, commingled recycling service, and yard waste disposal service. And whereas the current contract terminates on December 31st, 2015. And whereas it has been determined that Waste Management of Fairborn, Ohio, 45324 submitted the best bid proposal. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized and directed to execute an agreement contract with Waste Management of Fairborn, Ohio for a period of 5 years beginning January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2020. Section 2, rates for refuse collection, commingled recycling service, and yard waste disposal service are set forth in Exhibit A attached hereto and made part thereof. Section 3, this ordinance shall go into effect and be in full force from the earliest date allowed by law.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. As this is a resolution, is there any motions at this time?
Yeah, scratch that.
I'll second.
Jimmy's.
Council, a motion has been made, duly seconded, to pass Resolution CM-15-39. I know when it gets printed, it'll say resolution on the top. Outstanding. Is there any further discussion? All right. Once again, I would like to thank both Waste Management and Rumpke for all your time and help and information. It was greatly appreciated. Roll call, please.
Pop. Yes. Vogel.
Yes.
Tinnerman.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Francis.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance CM-15-39, the water rates. Ms. Brosh.
It's an ordinance to amend Chapter 52.116A, Water Rates of the West Milton Municipal Code. Whereas the city of Troy has increased the rates of providing water to its customers, and whereas council recognizes the importance of maintaining the fiscal stability of the municipality's water fund. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Section 52.116A is hereby amended to read, 1, effective with the January 2016 billing, the water rate shall be as follows. An operational charge of $13.45 for each billing period, a per 1,000 gallon usage charge of $5.95. 2, the operational charge shall be levied, then the 1,000 gallon usage charge for each 1,000 gallons of metered water usage shall be added to the operations charge. Thus, the minimum rate charged for 1,000 gallons in a billing period shall be $19.40. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Section 3, all ordinances and resolutions or parts of ordinances and resolutions in conflict with the ordinance are hereby repealed.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Just to let the residents know, this was discussed at some length, and the operational charge, if memory serves me correctly, is not changing.
That's correct.
It is just going to be the 1,000-gallon usage charge is going up to $5.95. The reason for the increase is due to the increase from Troy to the village of West Milton. Since they supply the water, they're increasing their rates to us, so we unfortunately have to pass those rates on to keep the water funds where they are. Awesome. Moving on to Resolution CM-15-40, Income Tax Ballot Date. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to specify the date upon which an election shall be held to consider the renewal of the current 0.5% income tax for the period commencing January 1st, 2017 and expiring December 21st, 2021 for the specific purpose of police and fire safety service expenditures for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Whereas council desires to place upon the ballot a measure before the West Milton electorate to renew the 0.5% income tax for the express purpose of providing funding for municipal police and fire operations. And whereas Section 718.01C of the Ohio Revised Code stipulates that in order to place a municipal income tax measure on the ballot, the legislative authority must first specify the date of the election and direct the Board of Elections to conduct the election. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Miami County, Ohio, that Section 1, March 15th, 2016, shall be and is specified as the date of the election to be held to submit to the electors for their approval to renew the 0.5% local income tax for the period commencing January 1st, 2017 and ending December 31st, 2021 for the specific purpose of funding police and fire safety services for the municipality of West Milton. Section 2, the Board of Election of Miami County is hereby directed to place this issue on the March 15th, 2016 ballot. Section 3, this resolution shall be effective from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Council, is there any action you would like to take on Resolution CM-15-40?
I'll make a motion to pass Resolution CM-15-40.
Thank you, Council. A motion duly seconded to pass Resolution CM-15-40 has been made. Is there any discussion? Okay. I would just like to add, we did have this on a previous ballot last year. The difference is last time it was on the ballot, we were requesting that it become permanent. This time, we're going for the normal 5-year renewal. It's very important that the voters take this into consideration, as it does help fund the police and fire departments. The funds from this are generated and only used towards the police and fire departments. So please remember that as March comes along. We will also be reminding everybody from now until then that this is on the ballot. March 15th is the presidential primary. So we will have further discussions, and we'll be open from now until then on any questions anybody has. Roll call, please.
Cop,
Yes.
Fogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes, resolution CM-15-40 passes. Moving on to ordinance CM-15-41, income tax ballot language. Ms. Brosh.
It's an ordinance to renew the levy of the 1/2 of 1% income tax expiring December 31st, 2016, without reciprocity for the specific purpose of funding police and fire operations in the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, for an additional 5-year period commencing January 1st, 2017, and expiring December 31st, 2021. Whereas, since January 1st, 1997, the municipality of West Milton, Ohio has had a 1/2 of 1% income tax to support police and fire safety service operations, including a renewal in November of 2001, November of 2016, and November 2006, and November 2011. And whereas the revenue produced by this tax is vital to maintain and enhance these public safety services for the community. And whereas the funds generated by this tax are bound by the terms of this ordinance to be used specifically to fund police and fire operations. And whereas these vital public safety services are essential to the health and welfare of citizens both working and living in the community, so that it is deemed necessary by the council that no reciprocity shall be permitted for payments to other communities. And whereas Section 718.01C of the Ohio Revised Code requires that a municipal corporation levying a tax on income at a rate in excess of 1% must obtain the approval of a majority of the electors of the municipality at a general, primary, or special election. Now therefore be it ordained by the council for the village of West Milton, Ohio as follows. Section 1. In accordance with the current laws and regulations governing the collection and payment of local income taxes to the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, the current 1/2 of 1% income tax which was levied for police and fire operations is hereby renewed for a period of 5 years beginning January 1st, 2017 and ending December 31st, 2021, subject to the approval of the majority of the electors of the municipality of West Milton upon the conduct of the primary election scheduled for March 15th, 2016. Section 2, this 1/2 of 1% income tax over and above the 1% otherwise levied by action of this council shall not be subject to any reciprocal credit for payment made to any other governments. Section 3, the ballot measure for the election as specified by Resolution CM-15-40 reads municipal income tax. The municipality of West Milton, a majority affirmative vote is necessary for passage. Shall the ordinance providing for the renewal of the municipal income tax levy in the amount of 1/2 of 1% for an additional 5 years with revenues being used only for police and fire safety services for the period commencing January 1st, 2017 and ending December 31st, 2021, with no credit or reciprocity for payments of local income taxes to other municipalities for this 1/2%, as is currently provided for in the West Milton codified ordinances, be passed. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Outstanding. Thank you, Ms. Brosh. And just to get everyone up to date on this ordinance, Resolution CM 15-40 was to set the election date. Ordinance number CM 15-41 is to actually put it on the ballot, and we will vote on that next month. Last but not least, ordinance CM 15-42, the 2016 budget. Ms. Brosh.
She needs a drink.
It's an ordinance to appropriate funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio for the year 2016. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, as Section 1, to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the municipality of West Milton during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2016 and ending December 31st, 2016. The following sums be and are hereby set aside and appropriated as follows. In the general fund for personal services for general government, it's $197,375. For transportation, it's $55,450. For security of persons and property, it's $861,250. For total personal services, of $1,114,075. Transfers to fire truck capital improvement is $12,000. Total other expenditures is $567,800, for a total general fund of $1,693,875. Special revenue funds. Cemetery is $500. Street levy is $218,750. Street construction and maintenance, with total personal services of $136,750. Total other expenditures of $78,100. For total street construction and maintenance, $214,850. State highway, $20,000. Enforcement and education, $500. Drug law enforcement, $500. For total special revenue funds of $455,100. Debt service funds, OPWC of $6,520.58, which is the total debt service funds. Capital improvement funds, sidewalk, curb, and gutter is $2,000, which is the same total as the total capital improvement funds. The enterprise funds for the water capital improvement transfers to utility meter replacement debt is $68,107, for the total water capital improvement fund of $68,107. Sewer capital improvement, total other expenditures is $106,500. Transfers to OPWC debt service, $6,521, for a total sewer capital improvement of $113,021. Utility meter replacement debt service, $68,107. Refuse fund of $565,000. Lose my voice. Water fund, total personal services, $333,550. Total other expenditures, $571,315. Transfers to OPWC of $12,645, for a total water fund of $917,510. Sewer fund, total personal services, $308,750. Total other expenditures, $222,575, for a total sewer fund of $531,325. Total enterprise funds is $2,263,070. The total appropriations of all funds is $4,420,565.58. The summary is total personal services of $1,893,125. Total other expenditures of $2,428,167.58, and total transfers of $99,273, for the grand total of the total appropriation of all funds, which was earlier stated. Section 2, the Director of Finance is hereby authorized to draw warrants on the village treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditure, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. And that is the last of the ordinances. Again, we will revisit ordinance CM-15-42 in December, and I would like to once again thank this council, the department heads, and the budget committee for all their hard work over the last 3 months. It's really nice to be able to pass a budget come December and not have to do a continuing resolution and worry about this next year. So thank you, everybody. Okay. Moving on to the municipal manager's report. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the audience. I, too, would like to just reiterate or say exactly what the mayor just said, of thanking both the Budget Commission and also the Budget Committee, the staff, for working very hard at trying to put together a hard budget. It is what I would note is, if you're familiar with our numbers, we roughly run on about a $4 million budget. This budget is about $4.4 million, with $566,000 of new dollars in garbage and trash. So we've tried to make it as tight a budget as possible. I only have a few items, Mayor, and Council. Just a reminder that fall leaf pickup is still underway. We're about midway through the season. Ben believes we're slightly behind. I think we're right on schedule. But we did have a water line break, which took us off kilter, and also a sewer backup. So there was a few days there that we had other things to do. It's just a reminder to the public that please keep the leaves out of the street if possible. Put them along the curb, and we will continue to provide this service until the very end of November. I told you that I would want to talk a little bit about sludge. I'm happy to say that, we've talked about this at a workshop. I'll give you more information at the next workshop. But I did go out and have been looking for engineering services to give us a cost-benefit analysis of the idea of dewatering our sludge. In layman's terms, basically when we are getting rid of our sludge, we're basically getting rid of 97% of its water. It's 3% solids. We have a theory that if we can reduce that and actually get it to maybe about 30% solids, that it would save us a lot in over $50,000 a year is what we're spending right now in getting rid of sludge. So we're looking at that. I believe I received a very, very strong price from an engineering firm from Cincinnati that I've actually worked with in the past to do the cost-benefit analysis for us for only $5,000. I know $5,000 is $5,000, but if it can save us, it'll pay for itself. So we may do that study, but I'll give you more information at the workshop. Finally, just a reminder, announcement, it's the 26th annual Holiday Open House. Will be this November 19th to the 22nd. As of tonight, in communicating with several of the business owners, or a few of the business owners who have been organizing this, I shouldn't say several, I do not have any information to share with you as to a possible tree lighting ceremony. Do not know if one's going to happen or not. I did find out that on that Friday, the 21st, is a Mura Pee Wee football fundraiser. So if there is a tree lighting ceremony, I've heard that Santa Claus may be coming from one of the business owners. If that is true, it probably or may happen on that Saturday, but I don't know yet. As soon as I do, you will know. But again, 26th annual open house, November 19th through the 22nd. Please come.
Tim's benefit?
Tim's benefit. Ben, can you? Tim's benefit will be on the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Saturday the 28th.
Saturday the 28th at
It'll start at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
It's actually 2 hours prior to the game to get it.
It's the Ohio State-Michigan football game. It'll start at 10 o'clock in the morning at Favor's. Come one, come all, please.
Outstanding. Be careful which side you're rooting for, I guess. Or some people can get. Does council have any old business? Okay. I would just like to say under old business, congratulations to Sarah Kopp, Don Dorman, Scott Fogel for winning the election for a 4-year term. Starting next year, the swearing-in ceremonies will be the first Tuesday in January, and then Karen Grudich for the remaining of a 2-year term, which will go in effect January's meeting. And also like to thank the citizens of West Milton for passing the charter changes at the last election. I'd like to again thank the Charter Commission for spending a lot of time reviewing the entire charter, putting forth what I believe are some solid recommendations that did get passed by the village. So we will get those changes into the charter and have new charters printed up as soon as we possibly can and go from there. So again, thank you to all involved. Any new business tonight? Okay. Any comments from citizens on anything tonight? He's not looking. You got anything? Good? DPNL's good? Okay. You're raising our rates, so you don't want to talk. I understand. Are there any final comments from council this evening? All right. I would personally like to say happy birthday to all the Marines out there. It is our 240th birthday today, so happy birthday, Marines everywhere. And I would like to thank all veterans for their continued work through different veterans programs and everything else that they do. Sorry. And I have one thing that I always end up reading on Veterans Day. It's probably one of the better definitions of a veteran. I'm sure everyone here has heard it before. A veteran is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of up to and including my life. I'm sure we are all touched by veterans in many different ways. I know some veterans that took that up to their life, and some good friends. So thank you, all veterans, and we have a couple on here, so happy Veterans Day tomorrow. Any other comments tonight? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.